Years ago, I had the good fortune of meeting this wonderful teacher named Debbra Schembri. And Debbra Schembri was the first person to introduce me to the concept that you create your own reality. And at the time, I remember it resonating so beautifully with me. It was like someone had put into words something that I had always intuitively known, despite my experiences, despite having, for a huge part of my life up until that point, feeling like a loser, feeling like a victim, feeling like I had no control. Somehow, intuitively, I felt the spiritual truth of that, if you like, even though I didn't understand it. And of course, the first time I heard the concept and I'd heard it articulated, the first thing that I did was to hand it over to my ego and hand it over to my mind. And I associated my environment with my reality. And so in my mind, that equaled, well, I create my own reality and my environment is my reality. So I went about basically ruthlessly chopping out people I didn't feel fit in with the reality that I wanted to create, and seeking out people I thought that did, and then tailoring my behavior and the way I presented myself into such a way as to potentially manipulate them into giving me what I wanted. And when they didn't give me what I wanted, I would get very upset because I create my own reality, but the environment isn't cooperating. Things aren't going the way I'm saying that they should, the way that I'm thinking that they should. I'm setting goals, I'm visualizing, and I'm expecting certain things to happen in the environment, certain kinds of people to show up, others to go away. And people who are coming in, I'm assessing them in terms of my goals and the reality that I want to create. So I'm assessing them in terms of, are they an asset or not? And if I don't see them as someone who could potentially help me get me what I want, chop, out they go. And so I would start to value other human beings in terms of what they can do for me, as opposed to just valuing human beings because they're human beings. But then what I came to realize after some time of this terrible self-defeating practice was that the environment is just the environment. The environment isn't my reality. The environment is the space that we all share as we all create our own reality, and our reality is actually our mind. And the mind that we create, again, is based upon the information in the computer, the brain, the beliefs, the attitudes, the thoughts, and the feelings. Mahatma Gandhi once said something along the lines of, I refuse to let another person walk through my mind with their dirty feet. Which is to say that whatever's happening in your environment, there are many things in your environment that you don't create, that you have no say in, that are going to happen regardless of what you do, what you think, what you're creating up here. And you're going to come across people who are rude, you're going to come across people who are mean, you're going to come across people who are lovely, you're going to come across people who are difficult to deal with. And that's just life, and you can't control that, you can't stop that. If you're going to engage in life, if you're going to go out into the world and create anything, you're going to come across these things, and not everybody's going to like you. And if everybody likes you, you're probably lying anyway, because you can't please everybody. And if you're pleasing everybody, then chances are you're not being truly authentic or honest with everybody. But if you can remind yourself that your reality is actually in the mind that you create for yourself. So there's what's happening in the environment, and there's how we respond to what's happening in the environment. There's what we attach ourselves to based upon what's happening in the environment, and then what we choose not to attach ourselves to. And one thing that may upset one person isn't going to upset another person. And it's not based upon what's happening in the environment, it's based upon the reality that those individuals are living in, which is the mind that they have created. It is true that you create your own reality, but Your reality isn't your environment. The environment is the place in which you express the reality that you are. So your reality is the mind that you create for yourself and the mindset that you create for yourself that is based upon the information you're putting into the computer, your beliefs, your attitudes, your thoughts, your feelings, which then go on to influence your choices and decisions, of course. So that influences the way you show up in the world, but then there's everybody else in the world who's also showing up trying to get what they want. And there are going to be some people who just aren't interested in anything that you have to say, that aren't interested in what you want. They just want what they want. And they have other goals and other aspirations, and you may not fit in with them. And there are going to be people who don't fit in with you. And then you have to determine for yourself how you maneuver around those things and what you attach yourself to and what you allow to come in and out of your life, what you allow yourself to let go of, and how you're going to allow the things that are happening in your environment affect you. Your reality is not your environment, it's your mind. And so if someone comes into your environment and they say something that you don't like, you find upsetting, and that upsets you, that's really based upon the reality that you are. That really depends upon the mind that you've created. Someone says something about the dress you're wearing or your latest work. They criticize you for something that you've said or something you believe, and then you take that on personally and that upsets you. That's not about what's happening in the environment. That's about what's happening in you, in the mind that you've created, where you worry about what other people think of what it is that you have to say, or where you worry about people rejecting the work that you're expressing out into the world. I refuse to allow anyone to diminish the quality of the reality that I am, to influence me in negative ways that cause me to retreat from this moment. Hi, I'm Will Kelly. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please let me know by smashing that like button, leaving a comment and subscribing to my channel. And if you can think of anyone this video may help, then please feel free to share it with them. And until next time, my beautiful friend, bye for now.